Hello, everyone. Welcome to Trap Chat 12 Days of Workplace Wisdom, Reflections, Realities, and Resets to Wrap 2025 and Power 2026. So, just in case you're wondering, why am I not doing rocking around the recruiter tree? Listen, Trap Chat is evolving, and so does the information that we put out. There will be recruiters on this series as well who will give you information about recruiting, about job seeking. But I wanted to have a more holistic approach because the world of work is extremely chaotic right now. And you need more than just how do I look for my next position, because there's a lot going on. And we are going to get started today with one of my favorites. Most of my guests, if not all of them, are going to be repeat guests, some multiple times, including the person sitting across from me right now. For those of you who don't know, this is Kate Bischoff of Kate Bish. She is an employment lawyer and one of the baddest out there. We both curse, but I try to be nice, and at least in the beginning, and not curse. So, Kate, hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for being here and for being the first person to accept my invitation. That was shade to some other folks. But anyway, let's jump right in. As I mentioned, this is reflections, this is realities, this is resets. So we're going to start with reflections. What stood out to you as the most significant employee rights issue of 2025?
Well, I had some of the most bizarre behavior in 2025 that I have ever had in my legal career. I had CFOs request employees drop trow so she could check out how well endowed he was. I had sex in the IT closet this year. I had the N word this year. I had the F word, not the 6-letter version. I had like amazingly disgusting, disturbing behavior that makes me great at cocktail parties. You are a mute.
Well, at least I didn't kick myself out like I normally do when I try to come off mute. But we did, y'all are going to be jealous, but Kate was at my house a few weeks ago for a little Gals Giving celebration, and it was filled with, for some reason, disproportionately attorneys or recovering attorneys.
Hey, we're a good group, though.
So I didn't realize how many attorneys are in my inner circle. But yeah, Kate was there, and we talked a little bit about some things that go on in the workplace. And I know she said it's extraordinary, but I'll just say that sex in the workplace is very common.
It is common.
Yeah.
I just don't think it happens like this. The IT closet was not consensual in many ways. And so,
okay.
There was definitely a power dynamic at issue here, and that's what made it so bad.
Extra. Okay, so maybe we won't delve into that one, but as you think about the cases and situations that you handled this year, excluding that one because that's a lot, what were the biggest misunderstandings employees had about their rights?
Well, I would say it's twofold. One, I had my first AI-generated complaint about the workplace, which was actually very helpful. I don't think this particular employee would have been as eloquent as she was using AI. So I think it actually helped her. And I loathe AI. Like I want y'all to stop. It's polluting my environment. It's like, I don't like it. But I think it actually helped her a significant amount, which was beneficial because it made the complaint clearer for me in many ways. So that was a good thing. But the other is the realization from employers that this stuff still happens and that they should be more proactive about it. I sat in a conference room with a group of employers, and they were like, well, what could we do to prevent this? And I'm like, well, you hired the guy and then you let him run rampant. Like, you didn't have any oversight. So like, you need to manage. And that kind of came as a shock to them in many ways. I think those are kind of the lessons I wish employers would learn.
Yeah, thank you for that. Whew. Here comes the part that has been putting a bee in my bonnet. Okay. So, yes. Okay. You like how I chose that word, right? Mm-hmm. How I chose that specifically and not said what I really wanted to say. So more than 1.1 million job cuts have been announced through October, because for whatever reason, we don't do job numbers anymore. And that's a 65% jump from 2024. October alone seeing the highest total for that month in over 20 years, 2 decades, 20 years. Yep. Tech has been hit the hardest. And as you said, it's due to your best friend, AI-driven restructuring.
That's what they say it's about.
That's what they say, but it says it's hardest hit because of AI-driven restructuring, followed by retail and services, and then cost cutting and AI adoption cited, of course, as the top reasons. In this environment, what immediate real-world steps should workers take if they're facing an impending layoff or they're pulled into an investigation? And then what are the most common missteps you see in these high stress type of moments?
Well, I see 2 things. And I say 2 things because I think I'm going to answer your question. I don't know if it 100% answers your question.
Okay.
But when you're looking at a layoff, I have seen in several of my clients, this has happened to, where they're going to lay someone off and they've made the decision that this is the individual that's going. And I ask, okay, so what was the criteria for the whole group? Like what makes it that this person is going to go? And their response was, well, their manager doesn't know what they were doing every day. And I'm like, okay, well, 1, that's a problem of management. Like, how were you managing someone you don't know what they're doing every day? And then 2, it was, why didn't you seek out that, go to your manager and say, this is what I'm working on. Like I don't want to blame the person losing their job, but I do think there is some value in saying, this is the value I provide, and marketing yourself a little bit, because it's better to market while you have a job that you like than when you have to market to get a job. And that is a skill that you're going to need when you're trying to get a job as well, is to market why you are important. Yeah. And so I guess I would say, I would hope that people would look at, okay, what value do I bring? And even if they're facing an impending layoff, one of my closest friends is getting laid off very shortly. Her last day will be in a couple of weeks. And she's like, my attitude about this is, yes, I know I'm being laid off. Yes, I could be really angry, but I need to show what I did and why it was important, so that all these people can go endorse me on LinkedIn. And then I can go, use that to my advantage when I'm trying to find a job. So I want it to be that you are proactive in showing why you're important to the organization internally, so that maybe you don't have to do it externally. But if you do, you've practiced it already.
Is there a point at which, I know this wasn't a question, but I think it's important, because I think this is what people this is what people have asked me, and I tell them, this is not advice. Because I am not authorized to give you this, but what I have seen is these things happening, and here's what I recommend. And number 1 is always consult an attorney before you do anything. So that's my number 1 thing for people that are facing a layoff. But I've seen folks that have come with these packages, and they have these stipulations. Well, if you sign right now, you can have X, Y, and Z. Right. There was something that I've heard you say multiple times, and I heard you say it that Saturday at my house. can you give that one piece of advice regarding a separation or an impending separation agreement that will help people, that will take a little bit of the backed into a cornerness off of them?
I don't know what I said. What did I say?
That's negotiable.
Oh, yeah. It is negotiable. A lot of it is negotiable. The thing that bothers me is if the organization is laying you off and they've shared their financials with you and they are giving you 4 months and you come back with I need a year, you need a really good reason as to why that's a year, because we just showed you we have no money. So like, what is it that gets you to that year? And I have some clients who are in desperate financial distress and looking at their industry going away because of new federal regulations. And so if you come back to them with a year, their response is going to be, what do you want us to do? We're not going to exist in a year. Like, and so some of that bristles me, but there is some like, hey, you know that I did this stuff. This was important, or this is what stupid shit my manager's been saying. Or like, this is how I think I've been treated poorly or something. Like, you need to come back with something to say in the negotiation. But I think you should negotiate. I want you to be reasonable about it.
Yes.
And that I think is sometimes lost on folks.
Yeah, I think there's a line between the organization being now you're mentioning situations that are unavoidable. Like if a business is going to be closing, there's not really a lot you can do, and they're trying to downsize intermittently or incrementally, I should say, to get them to at least be able to keep the lights on until the last person has to turn them off. But there are situations where there are restructurings or where they are going to divvy up your job and give it to 4 or 5 people. And I think you have a little bit more leverage in that instance, because like, oh, well, I'm a vice president level, for example, but you're going to hire 4 managers to do my job. That salary is going to be this much. What about my benefits? Oh, that unlimited PTO. Okay, well, the standard is this many weeks, pay me out for my PTO, that kind of stuff. So there are some things that you can do. Unfortunately, like you mentioned, there are some instances where you have a little bit of leverage, but not much, depending on the financial health of the organization.
Right. And remember, you get time to consider the agreement. Absolutely. I mean, especially if you're over the age of 40, you get time, like loads of time, 45 days in part of a restructuring, to consider the agreement. Take that time, talk to an attorney, work through the anger that you might have because they selected you, so that you can come back to it in a rational basis. And, if you're under the age of 40, you might not get a whole lot of consideration time. I think the standard is still, they're going to follow the ADA and they're going to give you 21 days. They don't have to, but they take a minute, take a beat. Don't just come blazing in and say, no, I get this. Like, that's not going to work. You got to work some of the emotions out of it and be reasonable and rational. And I hate that. I hate that you have to be civil. I hate all that kind of stuff. I hate it. But in this situation, you are asking for more, and it behooves you to not put them on their heels. And the other thing, don't use an attorney to negotiate.
Oh, interesting.
Go talk to an attorney. But as soon as you have the attorney talk to your employer, that's immediately going to put the employer on their heels.
Gotcha.
So work through what you think the response should be with an attorney, but make sure that's coming from you. Because my clients when they see an attorney coming at them, they're like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. Now we have to get insurance involved. Not necessarily, but so if it's the employee, it doesn't bring up that defensiveness, whereas if you have an attorney negotiate for you, it does.
That's awesome. I didn't even think of that. Thank you. All right, we're going to switch to another reality here, one that's very close to your heart, as a LinkedIn top voice on employee handbooks.
Woo! what a thing to put on my mantle, right? Woohoo! Everybody,
awesome. You got to go out to the headquarters and record your whole
Yeah.
session. That's awesome. I'm
was.
very proud of you. Strong J. I can't reach my table. Oh, yes, I can. I have 2 tambourines now.
Yes.
One was in reach, so I had to bang it for you. Okay. So, employee handbooks and policies, to us, sometimes they feel unnecessary, but I mean, I'm just going to say it, especially when it's filled with crap. But good ones. They outline what rights employees actually have.
Yep.
What sections or signals should workers be paying closer attention to right now, especially as companies review and revise policies heading into 2026?
Well, one, I would be, if I was an employee, I would look to see if there's any changes to discrimination and harassment. With the pulling back of DEI stuff, I anticipate there might be some softening of language in there. And I don't like it. I'm not advising it by any stretch of the imagination, but some organizations are real concerned about getting the ire of this administration. So yeah, so be on the lookout a little bit for that. The other thing I would say is pay close attention to leaves. I think leaves are going to be a real hot button topic going forward, not only in my state where paid family leave goes into effect January 1, but when the economy is stressed, people are stressed. And when you're stressed, it's health, it is other things happening in your life, and leaves then all of a sudden become something that is on the table more often. And so I would be looking to see what kind of changes are in those sections, because those are the big ones. And they're also the ones that people go read before they talk to anybody, right? Like if I find out I'm pregnant, I go read about leave, but I'm not telling my manager until I'm at week 13 at the earliest, right?
Okay.
And if I'm being harassed, I'm going to look at a harassment policy before I go report anything. I want to know like what's going to happen, what are you expecting, those kinds of things. So I would read the sections that get that kind of attention before they feel comfortable talking to folks.
Okay, I love it. All right, it's time to talk about the reset.
Woohoo!
So as we wrap up 2025, and thank it, like let's go. Like, enough. Yeah, like enough. What resets or proactive steps should workers take to protect themselves? In addition to what you just mentioned.
I was going to say, I think I talked a little bit.
Yeah, you did.
I would work on your elevator pitch for the organization. That's what I would work on. For you, what you bring to the organization, just so that you are working that muscle. Because I know nobody likes self-promotion. I certainly don't. Like I made a joke about, being on LinkedIn thing, right?
Yeah.
Nobody, I should say, a lot of people don't love self-promotion. There are some, and I'm going to say it, the white dudes who love to self-promote, right? But I think it's an important skill to hone so that you feel comfortable doing it. And you're going to have to do it if you're going to be looking for a job. You're going to have to do it if you're going to be looking for a promotion. I think we should get in the practice of talking about how awesome we are.
Okay, and that actually answers my last question as well. So, and it's a piece of wisdom that you want folks to carry into 2026. And I'd like you to just restate it. Get your elevator pitch, your value proposition, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, and especially if you want to transition, right?
Yeah.
Like if you want to take on more responsibility, if you want to change that career a little bit, make sure you can put it in the terms of those positions, right?
Yeah.
And working on those elevator pitch. Like the last 2 years, I've really done a lot of work on getting more workplace investigations because I love doing them. I think I'm pretty good at doing them. I get fast results for my clients. And it's really interesting to me because I get to learn a lot about an organization. So my legal analysis, I've turned that into, this is what I want to be doing, and then talking about it. Yeah. You'll see that I post more about it. I talk more about it so that it gets me what I want to be doing. And I would love to say that I'm super strategic about that, but I'm not. But it really has worked that way. And so now looking at 2026, that's how I'm framing, like, what do I want to be talking about in 2026? I've gotten out in front of people to talk about handbooks because I like working on handbooks. So that hopefully that will get me more work. And then I can transition to, let's talk more about when you get these employee relations issues. Like, I want to do more of that. So I think it's an important skill that even I have to work on. I'm like, I know I'm, preaching to the choir here, but like, I still have to work on this. And I hope people understand that it's not a flaw if you're not good at it. You just got to work on it a little
practice. And and I just want to add on to that from a recruiter standpoint, that your elevator pitch is not just for when you're looking to get your resume together to get out of there. Like Kate just mentioned, you never know who you're getting in the elevator with. Like, I tell this story all the time about how I felt like I was blowing an opportunity with the president of our company. And this was a big deal. You can say, oh, the president of a company, but this is a global company, like one of the biggest defense contractors out there. And this was just a guy who was just kind of shy. And we had moved, and like some of us had moved into another building, and he happened to get placed with us. Thing, like the rowdiest group of people, and get on the elevator. I'm going to lunch, and he knows who I am. So he's talking. He's like, "Where are you going?" He wanted us to invite him to lunch, and him making that noise. It wasn't like hi, because it was first. It was like, hi. You need to get in the elevator. You stand still, and he's like, well, where are you guys? Like, where are you ladies heading? He's like, oh, we're going to lunch. He's like, oh, where? Like, where are you going to lunch? Like, what's around here? So, like, that was the perfect time to be like, oh, okay. He can relax, and then I can tell him more about why I should be doing more stuff.
Right. Like, I often, when I'm talking to, like, I love talking to CEOs because I don't work with big companies. I work with little companies because I love little companies, right?
Okay.
I grew up in a little company. I feel like I understand them. My favorite is that when a CEO is like, well, I could just walk into the room and have lunch with everybody. I'm like, hold up. That is not true. Like,
they're going to be intimidated. Yeah.
Your title makes you immediately intimidating. So,
absolutely.
And they desperately think that they can be on the same level as Joe Schmo, who's, working over here and is an individual contributor. That's not true. But if you're Joe Schmo, you got to understand that they think that way. And you got to.
Some of them. Some of them, I think in smaller companies, yes, because they do want to feel more connected. But I do think in larger companies, that's rare for them to even,
Yeah, but in the smaller ones, they think they're pulling up by the bootstraps. They know everybody. Yeah. They know which number employee you were hired at.
Ooh,
so, but like
that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, but and they are intimidating just by the very nature. But if you are ready to talk about why you're awesome.
Yes.
With the person who might be intimidating to you, guess what? They're going to think you're awesome.
Yep.
So, they're just people too. They put their pants on one leg at a time, I hope.
Yes.
So.
I was trying to visualize putting them on both at the same time, but no.
Hopefully. Only soft pants can you put on two-legged. I think the hard pants, which are going to be in an office, more likely. Yeah. And I talk anything with a zipper and a button. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. So before I let you go, we got to do two little holiday things because, it wouldn't be Trap Chat without a little more fun. I think I've been having fun this whole time. I don't know about you, but I'm enjoying myself. All right. What's your favorite holiday tradition?
My children, when we decorate the tree, which there's only one of them this year, when we decorate the tree, because Quentin will still be at school, we watch Die Hard while we decorate the tree. That's my favorite tradition.
I never knew that, and Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Well, we're going to have to agree to disagree on this particular issue.
You're on that side. You're on that side of Die Hard's a Christmas movie, so we're just going to leave it at that. I personally don't think Die Hard's a Christmas movie, but
it didn't come out at Christmas.
It was
many arguments why it's not a Christmas movie, but for us, I'm raising two children who grew up on action flicks. I grew up on action flicks, so it's the most Christmassy of the action flicks, I think.
There's a lot of action in National Lampoons. There's a lot of action.
Yes, but there's not the best line in a movie ever, which is yippee-ki-yay. So
Samuel L. Jackson.
hey, I have a shirt that says the Samuel L. Jackson 5. It's 1, 2, 3, motherfucker. And it's my favorite t-shirt. If I ever met that man, he would be like, who is this? I'd be like, oh, it's
Love it.
I love you. I've seen every movie you've ever been in.
Okay. So now we know what your favorite curse word is. I love that for me. Yeah. 100%.
I can conjugate that verb, that noun in any way, shape, or form. You betcha.
Okay. All right. And lastly, do you set New Year's resolutions? And if so, do you have a unique or interesting one you'd like to share for 2026?
Well, I will tell you that 2024 was an absolute shit year for me. And so for 2025, I have tried to have the most amazing year. I have traveled to amazing places. I have one more major trip left in me, and I just booked it today. I'm so excited. I'm going wild ice skating in Swedish Lapland between Christmas and New Year's.
You're taking the kids?
Nope, just me.
By yourself?
Mm-hmm. They're not with me that week. So I'm going to go up for 5 days, and that's
amazing.
There's a skating track that's 10 kilometers long. I'm going to do it a couple of days. I'm going to take a snowmobile trip to see the Northern Lights. So yeah, it's going to be awesome.
I'm going to see Northern Lights next September.
Woo! You're going to love it. So I have tried to have the best possible 2025, absent the state of the world in general. But I don't generally set New Year's resolutions like that very often, because what I think any day can be a new year for you if you really think about it. And so I think setting an arbitrary, it's going to be this day for me, it doesn't necessarily motivate me in any way. And I'm really bad at goals. I'm really bad at setting what my 5-10 year goal is, because I'm 47 years old. Keeping on with my business, with my kids, making sure they're launching successfully. Like, those would be the things I want to continue to do. I don't need to set big goals. So I'm kind of anti-resolution in lots of ways.
Okay. Not mad at it. But are there going to be more trips in 26? Trips in 26? Okay.
Yes, there'll be more trips in 26. Because on this trip to Sweden, I get diamond medallion status on Delta. So I got to take full advantage of all of those upgrades.
I love that for you.
So, me too.
Thank you so much for sharing your legal insights in a digestible and understandable way to us not so smart people.
You're very smart. What are you talking about?
I pretend. It's better if people think I'm a goofball. So, it's better. It helps them cope. So anyway, I appreciate you. Please. Thank you for kicking off 12 days of workforce wisdom with the best advice that I could ask for. And please, everyone else, please come back for more. We're going to be talking to wellness experts, recruiters, HR folks who focus on equity and inclusion, DEI, trying to get another attorney. And believe it or not, I'm going to have some professionals who are also job seekers. And they have a tremendous perspective to offer, because a lot of times they're like, the people that are in charge of hiring don't understand what we're going through. Well, imagine that you're in charge of hiring, and now you have to figure out how to find your next role. So make sure you come back for more Trap Chat, 12 days of workplace wisdom, reflections, realities, and resets. See you next time.